हेलो सर, विकास सर।
थैंक यू सूरज जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
जी सर।
आज इतना कैसे इश्यू आ गया है सूरज सर?
सर बस आइडिया नहीं है कुछ।
आइडिया
सर
नहीं
वैसे
है।
रिकॉर्डिंग स्टार्ट, हाँ जी हाँ जी सर। सर रिकॉर्डिंग स्टार्ट हो गई है सर।
चलो ठीक है, मैं स्लाइड शेयर करता हूँ।
जी
थैंक यू सर।
ओके, स्लाइड विजिबल है हर्ष?
यस सर, इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस स्ट्रेटेजी।
ओके, बट वही है, अपने आप को रेस्ट्रिक्ट मत करना ऑपरेशंस का, स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट का। अगर आपको लग रहा है कि आप ऑपरेशंस भी कवर कर सकते हो तो कर लेना। माइंड में मरना ये रहता कि बाई चांस में कुछ कर मैं ऑपरेशंस कर लेता तो मुझे उसमें नौकरी मिल जाती। बट ऐसा मतलब कोई हार्ड एंड फास्ट रूल है नहीं बिल्कुल भी। कोई ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग कोरिलेशन नहीं है इन दो चीजों का। इवन दो आपके पास में मार्केटिंग और फाइनेंस भी होती है तो भी आप ऑपरेशंस में, सप्लाई चेन में या स्ट्रेटजी में जा सकते हो, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है। ठीक है, अभी के लिए तो मैं यही गाइड करूंगा कि जो जिस चीज से आपको डिग्री जल्दी मिल जाए और एक अच्छा स्कोर मिल जाए, वो ज्यादा जरूरी चीज है। ठीक है।
जी सर।
चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं क्लास आज के लिए। सो टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट विद आवर यूनिट थर्ड, which is forms of international business, international trade and investment, licensing arrangement. So today we are going to cover these three topics with respect to the unit third, and transactions cost theories of the international business activity we are going to take care in the next class. So today we are going to discuss with respect to the different forms of international business like joint venture, licensing, franchisee, or this contract manufacturing, strategic alliance. Okay, what are their advantages, what are their disadvantages? So and after that, what is the role of international trade and investment in the form of international business? And then specifically there is these licensing arrangements topic has been mentioned in your subjects. So in somewhat detail, we are going to discuss about the licensing arrangements also. What kind of licensing arrangements are there with some specific examples. So let's start with respect to the international business, forms of international business. So to understand the forms of international business, we first need to understand the international business models. These all forms comes under the international business models. There are different types of models which a company undertake when they expand into new markets, expand into the new regions. This encompass the strategies and structures that companies employ to operate and compete in the global marketplace. From one country, host country, to the new country where they want to expand, there is some kind of strategy or some kind of structure one company need to adopt so that they will get access to the that foreign country. In a world where markets are increasingly interconnected, and understanding these models is not just beneficial but imperative for the business aspiring for the global reach, for the get the benefit of globalization. To understand the forms of business is very necessary. To understand the business models is very necessary from the international point of view. These models dictate how companies enter new markets, manage the international operations, how they navigate the cross-border trade and investment challenges, and harness the global opportunities for the growth and innovation. What are the forms of international business under business models? To understand the diverse form of international business is very crucial. Each model have their own advantage and challenges with respect to the international market. So based on these advantages and challenges, first one, we carefully evaluate the goals, capabilities, and the market environment. And on that basis, we are going to choose the most suitable strategy for the international expansion. Strategies which can include exporting, franchisee, licensing, joint ventures, and the wholly owned subsidiaries. Each model present a unique pathway to international expansion with advantage and disadvantage. So these are some kind of forms of the entry into the international business like licensing and franchisee, exporting and importing, contract manufacturing, joint venture, wholly owned subsidiaries. Okay, so let's first discuss about the exporting. Exporting, like we can say, this is the gateway to the international market, and exporting is the first step when a company going to expand into the new market, into the new country. Exporting the most traditional form of international business. This allow the buying and selling of goods or services produced in one country to the customer in another country without expanding the production in that particular new country, or without getting so much investment. You manufacture the product in your host country itself, and then you will export those products or services to the your target country. You are exporting only, without doing so much investments, or without opening your own subsidiaries or your own company into that host country. This model is often the first step for the business seeking to enter the international arena due to its relatively low risk and the investment requirement. Exporting requires very much investment as compared to these ventures, joint venture or strategic alliance or licensing, even though and also risk is very low. Companies can either even though you are not going to take care about much about the regulatory requirement of a country also, when you are just exporting the product to the host country. Companies can either export directly to their customers, or they can use the intermediaries like agents and the distributors to reach your product to the customer. Exporting can be two types: direct exporting, like company sells directly to the foreign customer, as we discussed, or indirect exporting through the intermediaries like agents or distributors. For example, to understand, like many SMEs, small medium enterprises, they began their international journey through exporting, gradually building their presence in foreign market. So this is the first step to expand with a perspective of international business. Exporting have very low risk and the very less investment requirement as compared to any other form of business. But there are some challenges also with respect to exporting. Exporting, like companies often face barriers such as tariffs and trade restrictions, and the complexity to navigate different regulatory environment. Uh, that particular company should have the knowledge of the regulatory environments also. And if there is any increase or decrease in the tariffs or tariff restriction, then these trade or tariff restriction are going to inhibit the growth of that particular company with respect to the exporting. So these are some challenges. And also, moreover, the lack of local market presence also can limit the brand visibility and the customer engagement. But exporting still, apart from all these challenges, still a very low risk and investment point of view requirement is very low. And this is the first step for the business to seeking the enter into the industrial business. Exporting is the first form of business. Then comes the franchisee. Franchisee is like leveraging the brand power. Like many companies, if we discuss like KFC or McD, Pizza Hut, Burger King, Domino's, Subway, these all companies, they are most of they are relying on the franchisee model itself. And if you can see through this picture, like McD or KFC, they have their operations. They are running their outlets. Might be all over the globe, in different continent, in for different countries, and you will find out the these franchisee or these outlets each and every country almost. Okay, so franchisee like this allow a business to grant another party the rights to use its trademark, business model, and processes to offer the products or services under the business brand. In franchisee model, a company like KFC or Domino's or Pizza Hut, these company grant the rights to the another party to which they are offering the franchisee, so that they will use their trademark, their logo, and they can control the processes inside that particular franchisee, which they are offering to that particular person, third party, to offer the product and services under the business brand. This model enabled the rapid expansion with relatively low financial risk to the franchisors. here, because the expansion is very rapid, and one company, the main company, the franchisors, they do not have to spend so much an amount. The moment when they are offering franchise to any third party, usually third party offers some money even though to the franchisor. Like if you want to open any McD or Subway or Domino's outlet, so you have to pay to these companies first one. Then they will grant you the rights, so that you will use their copyright, you use their business model, trademark. And even though after doing the business, you have to give some profit also to the franchisor. So everything third party is doing on behalf of the franchisor. So this is relatively low financial risk. Franchisee bear most of the capital. Franchisee, which the third party, they bear all the capital and the operational cost, while the franchisors benefit from the brand extension and a share of the profit, even though. Like classic example to discuss with respect to the international franchisee is the global fast food chain McD, Subway, Domino's, which has successfully replicated its business models across various countries. Like, for example, to understand, in India, Domino's operates in India through the Jubilant Foodwork. And because of this only, Jubilant Foodwork, if you go to the Nifty, Jubilant Foodwork is a listed company. And the growth you will notice with respect to Jubilant just because of Domino's is very good. But in last 4 or 5 years, this has been hit by some ups and downs also, because of some reasons. Jubilant is based, Foodwork is based on Delhi, okay, and their headquarters is in Connaught Palace. And some friction between Domino's and Jubilant has, done some loss to Jubilant also, because recently Domino's have given withdraw the power of many franchisees, especially with respect to the North India, to this Jubilant Foodwork. But from last almost 20 years, Domino's is operating in India through Jubilant Foodwork only, which follow the global brand system but adapt to the local taste. Again, if we talk about the challenge or the limitations for the franchisee, this is also, demand maintaining the consistent quality and the service standard across all the locations. It's not like that the low is low. There is a low financial risk associated with franchisee model, or there is no almost negligible capital or the operational cost. But as a brand, the franchisors like McD or KFC or Domino's or Subway, they need to be maintain the consistent quality across their all franchises, across their all outlets, and the service standard across all the locations, which can be a challenging in diverse market with different cultural and the operational norms. So these are some challenges or limitations with respect to the franchisee model. As we have discussed this picture with respect to KFC, McD, Pizza Hut, Burger King, Domino's. Okay, in some countries like KFC is top in 83 countries, McD usually top in 40 countries, the most popular brand. Pizza Hut in top in 18 countries, Burger King in 14 countries, and Domino's in 16 countries. And they all depend on the franchisee model. Then the next form of international business is licensing, like a flexible market entry approach. Licensing, it's like you are giving your business model, your popular international business model, where a company like licensor allow another party, third party, usually a licensee, to use its intellectual property such as patent, trademark, or technology in exchange for a fee or a royalty. So licensing is like you are giving rights, your intellectual property rights such as patents, trademark, or technology, and in exchange you will get fee. In exchange you will get the proportion of a profit or royalty. This approach is particularly appealing in industry where intellectual properties is a significant assets, like in pharmaceuticals or in technology. So specifically in technology driven businesses or technological driven products or services or pharmaceutical products or in medical sciences like medical devices, intellectual property play a major role. Where you will you have some kind of patent with you, you have some kind of trademark with you, copyrights with you, and you will offer them for a fee or for royalty. Licensing offer a low risk entry into the foreign market, especially in the countries with restrictive trade policies or the complex legal environment. It allows the licensors to generate revenue from their intellectual property without the need for a substantial capital investment. Without spending so much money, a licensor will allow another person, another third party, and on that basis, they are able to generate revenue. However, the primary risk lies in the losing the control over how the intellectual property is used and potentially impacting the brand reputation. Here is also kind of challenges if a company allowing their trademark or patent to use to the third party, and in some cases that third party misuse it, or in some that cases third party did not manage the consistent quality or the standard which is the utmost requirement. If we talk about the pharmaceutical product medicines, then this will also going to negatively impact the licensor also. So the challenge is with respect to licensing arrangement, we are going to discuss later on also in today class itself, as this is the your topic in unit third, and it has been mentioned in the syllabus. So again, I will come back, but maybe after discussing the forms of business, and then one more topic with respect to the international trade and investment. Then licensing arrangement we are going to discuss in more details later on. Then there are two different kind of forms also, like turnkey projects or contract manufacturing. If I discuss about the turnkey projects, this is a method in which a company contract with a foreign entity to design and build an entire operation. And on the completion of the project, the operation is handed over to the owner who can use the facilities straight away. Here, turnkey project like when a project is completed, you have to hand over the key to the entity which has given you the right to build that project in the foreign nation. So that's why this project is called turnkey. Here you will a third party or a person to whom the project has been assigned, they complete everything from the scratch, and after completion they will hand over the key to the entity which has asked them to complete the project, and then they will start doing manufacturing or maybe start offering the services. Handing over to the owner who can use the facility straight away. In a turnkey project agreement, a company agreed to construct a complete plant in a foreign country and make it completely operation. It is known as turnkey because the licensor starts the operation and hands over the key to the operating plant to the licensee. Then comes the contract manufacturing. In last few classes, we have discussed with respect to India or Taiwan, Vietnam, China, Bangladesh, South Africa, Venezuela, okay, Peru. These are the countries which are emerging as a contract manufacturer. China have taken the advantage as a contract manufacturer from last 2 decades, and because of that they are the second economy as of today. Right now, Indonesia, Vietnam, Taiwan, Bangladesh, and India is doing good. Contract manufacturing is a process that establishes a working agreement between two different companies, and one company custom the produce parts or other material on behalf of their clients. You can you name any big company like this Madame or Levi's or John Player, okay, Gap. These all companies in textile, they mostly give the contract manufacturing projects or agreement through the and on this basis they produce that particular product they are asking, like any jeans or any other clothes. And then on that behalf, the client they sell and they will get the benefit, they will generate their revenue and become profitable. So here company custom produce parts or other material on behalf of their client, and as a result the client does not have to maintain any manufacturing facilities or have to purchase any raw material or manage the supply of raw material, or have to face the ups and downs because of any kind of inhibition or restriction in the supply chain management, or to hire labor to manage labor, okay, to produce the finished goods. So client, they directly hire any third company, and on this they will ask that particular company to do all the businesses. Maybe that particular company, they have multiple agreements with multiple companies to produce the goods. Maybe they are good one in that particular sector, like TSMC, a Taiwan-based semiconductor company, or Foxconn. They are producing a product for the Apple. Okay, and in India also there are many small medium enterprises also which are working as a contract manufacturer to produce vaccines, to produce medicines, to produce the products, many products, and on that behalf they are not able to sell, but they are manufacturing everything, like procuring that raw material, or purchasing new machinery, managing the labor, they are doing on their own, and client is going to pay them directly for that, and the trademark and everything is of the client. So, like example, if we discuss like Gap or Nike, both of whom use contract manufacturing and the shoe manufacturer in the lower labor cost nations like Indonesia or Taiwan or Bangladesh or India. Then comes the joint venture, the next form of business, international business. Here you collaborate for the mutual benefit. Like in India, Starbucks has joint venture with the Tata Alliance, or once upon a time, Suzuki have entered into India with Maruti, and they created joint venture Maruti Suzuki. Same has been done with Escort and Kubota in India. Hero Honda, they have come into joint venture, and today Vodafone Idea, they are working as a joint venture company. So joint venture involve two or more companies and offer from different countries coming together to form a new entity. So these two companies, they are from the different origin, from the different nations, like Vodafone Idea. Idea is based in India, and Vodafone is a British company. If I talk about Maruti Suzuki, Maruti is an Indian-based company, was an Indian-based company, and Suzuki was a Japanese company. If I talk about this Starbucks and Tata again an Indian company, Starbucks is an American company. Okay, Hero Honda, Hero is a Indian company, Honda is a South Korean company. So these in joint venture, this involves two or more companies, and often from different countries, they coming together to form a new entity. This partnership allow companies to pool resources, share the risk, and combine strength to achieve the mutual business goal. Here, the goal of the companies to pool the resources, share all kind of risk, because a new company based on foreign entities, specifically in this scenario, they are not looking into the major risk. So that's why they decided to go with the joint venture. And in India itself, Maruti Suzuki, they come into the joint venture in 1993. And as of today, now Suzuki, which is a Japanese company, they control the majority of the shares in Maruti Suzuki. And now we cannot call Maruti Suzuki as an Indian company. Now it's a Japanese company, because around 63-65% share belong to Suzuki. Same has been done through Hero Honda, but in 2011, Hero Honda, they got split, and now Hero and Honda, they separately producing two-wheelers in India, and they are controlling market somehow. But initial, when they comes into the joint venture, their main target is to come into a partnership which allow companies to pool the resources, all kind of resources, share the risk, and combine strength to achieve the mutual business goals, like to become profitable, to increase the revenue, and to gather to capture the as much possible market share as they want, or compete well. So joint venture are particularly beneficial in markets where local knowledge and presence are crucial for the success. Like for example, automotive companies like General Motors have engaged in joint venture to enter and expand in the Chinese market, leveraging the local partnership. expertise while bringing in their technological and the operational capabilities. GM, General Motors, which is one of the best company in the world, American company, they come into joint venture with a Japanese Chinese company, and they start producing there. If I talk about, I have with respect to India, I have talked about this Hero Honda, Maruti Suzuki, and many other companies. They come into joint venture. Like in Starbucks in India, they enter into a joint venture with Tata Group. So there are some challenges associated with joint venture also, like managing the partnership effectively, ensuring the alignment of goals, and navigating the potential conflicts also. Sometimes this leads to issues also, and because of those issues itself, Hero and Honda, they split up, and managing the partnership effectively. Because of that, only Suzuki increased their market share. Suzuki increased the shareholders percentage of share in Maruti is a joint venture, and now controlling a complete entity. So this is with respect to the joint venture collaborating for the mutual benefit. The last form to discuss is a wholly owned subsidiaries, like the full control in the foreign. If noticed, starting from the exporting, then franchisee, licensing, joint venture, or contract manufacturing, or wholly owned subsidiaries, the risk has been increased. The requirement of the regulatory has been increased, and the kind of investments also increase. The maximum risk and the maximum investment is required in the wholly owned subsidiaries, where you have full control in the foreign market. Establishing a wholly owned subsidiaries is more like a direct but capital intensive approach to the international expansion. In this model, a company fully owns and control the foreign operations. This approach offers complete control over the operations, allowing the parent company to implement its strategies and maintain its standards without compromising on any part, like operation inefficiency or production inefficiency, or with respect to the consistent quality or standard, okay, following the protocols, or fulfilling the regulatory requirement, okay, or kind of taking the control. So these are some challenges which one or another companies will form in another kind of business, in another kind of forms, like exporting or franchisee or joint venture or contract manufacturing. Okay, but here you will control everything. You will start everything on your own, and you have the wholly owned subsidiaries in the foreign uh, country, like tech giant Apple, Google, Microsoft. Okay, they have opened businesses. They have opened their offices all over the world almost. In India, even though there are 500 plus Fortune 500 companies, they have offices specifically in Delhi NCR or in Bangalore or Mumbai. Okay, so they have established these companies. They have established the wholly owned subsidiaries in various international market. Apart from Apple and Google, there is Flipkart. Not Flipkart. Amazon is there. Okay, they are selling products. There are many Japanese companies like Sensui or Sony or this Toyota. They are working in India as a wholly owned subsidiaries. LG, Samsung is also there, which are South Korean companies. Chinese companies also have are offering products. Even though Xiaomi, they start producing in India itself, because in Greater Noida they have a plant as of today. So these all wholly owned subsidiaries have various international market to maintain control over their operations, branding, and the technology. That's why these companies, they go for the wholly owned subsidiaries, so that they have control about on everything, starting from the procuring the raw material, producing the goods, and then offering that particular product to the end user or the customer through the different distributors or retailers, and even though looking out after sales services also. However, this model, this required significant investment and bear the high risk, especially in the political and the economical volatile environment. LG have, recently, last year itself, they come with the IPO in India around in 10,000 crore rupees. Otherwise, as of today, LG does not have that much interest in India. But from last year, they have listed first time in India, and with the 10,000 crore IPO, they came. Okay, and now they want to expand, even though in multiple products they want to offer, and they want to produce those multiple products in India itself. Apart from electronic segment, they want to expand in other areas also. That's why they have come with IPO. So in wholly owned subsidiaries, some one company required significant investments, and also risk is very high. So balancing the risk and rewards with respect to these forms of businesses, or with respect to these international business models, each international business models come with a trade-off and between control, risk, and investment, and have potential return capabilities or capacities also. So choice depends entirely on the basis of various factors. Entirely, this is a call of a company through which model they want to expand into the foreign market or venture out into the foreign nation, including the company size, resources, industry, in kind of industry they are working, or the specific characteristics of a target market. Companies often start with lower risk strategy like exporting or licensing, and then gradually move on to the higher investment model like joint venture and then wholly owned subsidiaries. And as they gain more experience and confidence in the international arena, like again, if I give quote examples with respect to Maruti Suzuki, they start with joint venture and now they have wholly owned subsidiaries in India. Same has been done with through Escort Kubota. Kubota again is a Japanese company. They come into joint venture with the Escort, and then as of today, this is a wholly owned subsidiaries of a Kubota, which is a Japanese company. Escort is not a now we can't say Escort is a Indian company. Also, MG Hector means this is kind of a Chinese control company, and MG Hector is based at Britain, but the most of the investment, around 75% investment, is through Chinese investors, and they have they have started selling their cars in India through this franchisee model itself. So because any Chinese manufacturer, they are not able to expand into India because of many underlying issues, because of political differences, because of the technological disparity, because of the difference in both countries, and there is a risk we are facing from China in many fronts. So we are not allowing many Chinese companies to come in India and start manufacturing. So they go to the Britain route, and through MG Hector, they invested in India. So often companies, they balancing the risk and rewards, and they start with the lower risk strategy, like starting from the exporting, and then to the last form of business, like wholly owned subsidiaries. Walmart also want to expand in India, and that's why they completely own Flipkart before expanding into India. And in the year 2017, they acquire completely in $16 billion, and they purchase almost 73% share of Flipkart. Okay, which was an Indian company, and now this is wholly owned by a American company, Walmart, which is a giant itself in retail sector. Okay, so these were some forms of businesses with respect to the international business, to do the business in the any nation in the foreign entity, with respect to exporting, franchisee, joint venture, licensing agreement, strategic alliance, contracts manufacturing, turnkey projects, and at last the wholly owned subsidiaries. Okay, any question? Let's take 10 minutes break. It's 8:03 right now. So we are going to meet again around 8:15. Then we will start with our next topic. Thank you very much. Let's wait for 10 minutes. थैंक यू आनंद सर। ये रिकॉर्डिंग दोबारा स्टार्ट होगी फिर? पहले वाली रिकॉर्डिंग हुई होगी, नहीं हुई होगी?
नहीं, स्टार्ट है सर, आप कंटिन्यू कीजिए।
पहले वाली
नहीं है सर अभी।
जो चल रही थी अराउंड 1 आवर हो गया था कंप्लीट, 50 आवर्स 50 मिनट्स के आसपास।
कंटिन्यू है सर, कंटिन्यू कीजिए।
चलो, ठीक है सर, मैं करता हूँ। I hope slide is visible. Ridhima, Suraj, can you please respond? Ridhima, slide visible है आप लोगों को? Okay, thank you. So we were discussing with respect to the unit third, the forms of international business. Now we are going to get our next topic, which is international trade and the investment dynamics in the international business with respect to these forms. So to understand the dynamics of international trade and investment is very fundamental for the business aiming to thrive with the global economy with respect to the globalization. Because each and every kind of business, starting from minimum investment to the maximum investment, from exporting to wholly owned subsidiaries, money is everything. Investment is everything. So to understand the investment criteria and the international trade is also very important. International trade and investment serve as a twin pillars of global commerce, driving economic growth and fostering the international relations, and that will shape the fortune of the business worldwide. International business often avenue for the market expansion, resource access, but also bring challenges that require the strategic foresight, meticulous planning, and the cultural sensitivity, which we have discussed even though in last class also and in previous topic also. In a world where economic interdependence continue to grow, the ability of companies to effectively navigate these dynamics will be key determinants for the global success for all these companies who want to thrive into the global economy. International trade, what is this? This involves the exchange of goods and services across the national borders. This exchange allow countries to expand their market, access the new customer bases, and benefit from the efficiency of global production. The dynamics of trade are influenced by the factors like comparative advantage, where companies specialized in producing goods, they can produce the goods most efficiently. Okay, so we have discussed with respect to China or Taiwan or Bangladesh or India, these companies, they are labor intensive countries. Here you will get the labor, very cheap labor, and there is a manufacturing capabilities is also very good. So here companies, they come here to produce their goods, and then they sell from here itself, like from India and from China specifically, so to all over the world, and they are getting benefits of the comparative advantage with respect to the raw material, with respect to the machinery, with respect to the low cost labor in these developing nations. So, and this will help to expand their market and to access the new consumer base also. So international trade, this is the exchange of goods and services across the national border, including the production also, and or offering the service. So we have discussed with respect to the dynamics of international trade in second unit also with respect to globalization and trade liberalization. Last few decades have been seen an unprecedented liberalization of trade and facilities by the international agreements and organizations like World Trade Organization or International Monetary Fund. Okay, these organizations, they control the business, they offer the investment to the developing nations, specifically to the poor countries, and the main investors in these organizations in World Bank or in WTO or in IMF, these developing nations like America or Britain or Germany or France, it was there. These developments have reduced the trade barriers such as tariff quotas and making the international trade more accessible and efficient. Like, for example, NAFTA, which is a North American free trade agreement, and the European Union Single Market Program have significantly boosted the trade among the member countries of European member or the North American Free Trade Agreement, which include the Canada, Mexico, and America. So we, with respect to the dynamics of international trade or with respect to international trade, we have discussed in full length in the unit 2 and specifically mentioned the globalization, liberalization policies. Already we have discussed several examples, so you can refer to the unit 2 also to understand with respect to globalization and liberalization in detail. With another point to discuss with respect to the dynamics of international trade is trade policies and the implications. Like India have come into the agreement with the European Union and this Britain, America in last year, and this year we have come in agreement with New Zealand. First time maybe in many decades, even though means in with New Zealand there are many products which are going to be offering zero tariff at a zero rate. So these trade policies and their implications are going to be positively affect Indian sector also. Indian by the mean of form of business like exporting or joint venture or licensing, many Indian companies they can get benefit out of all these trade policies and and trade agreements. So these national trade policies, including the tariffs, trade agreements, and the export incentives, they play a crucial role in shaping the international trade dynamics. These policies can either promote or hinder the trade, impacting the competitiveness of the domestic industries in the global market. Sometimes protectionist approach like American as of today, make America great again, the approach of Trump right now, like tariffs and quotas, they aim to shield the domestic industries, but also can lead to the trade disputes and the retaliations impacting the global trade relations. And as of today, international markets, they have been hit majorly because of these trade restrictions or the protectionist policies, and because of the war which is going on Middle East. So these international trade as effective, affect positively sometime negatively also, because if one country adopt the protectionist approach or policies. But if I talk about with respect to India, we are very open. We are very open with many nations, and as of today, we get into many agreements with many nations, or particularly the European Union and New Zealand or Britain and America specifically. Also, we have agreement with South Africa, with Iran also in some cases. And even though we are opening our front to China also, recently we have come into agreement with China also that in Chinese companies they can come in India, they can invest up to 10%, in a way, particular one subsidiaries or one company. So these all are going to benefit positively the course of Indian international business, the future of international business with respect to India. Now, let's discuss about the role of investment with respect to international trade. As I have told you, you can go through the unit 2 again, and you can go through the policies of globalization and liberalization. With respect to the role of investment in the international business, like foreign direct investment or foreign portfolio investment, foreign institutional investors. Someone is going to invest in the bonds or in the foreign exchange of a particular industry. This all comes under the investment routes with respect to international business. So first one is the FDI, foreign direct investment. So what is FDI basically? This is a critical component of the international business, and this involve the investment of capital by a company from one country into the business interest in the another country. In last 2 decades specifically, India has opened FDI in many sectors. Before 2000, we were closed actually, even though we have adopted the LPG policy in 1991. But till 1999, we were not allowing the many countries or companies of the foreign origin to invest in our country. But in 1999, first time we opened the retail sector for the FDI. And as of today, we have opened many sectors with which include agriculture also, insurance also, medical field, medical devices, pharmaceutical, technology, and even though media, even though in company many companies they can invest in media and defense also at some rate. Okay, so as of today, we have opened FDI route for many nations for the companies of the foreign origin also. But once upon a time, before 2000, it was completely closed for the foreign entities to invest in India. But this is a very critical component of international business, and this involves the investment of capital. This can take the form of establishing the operations. FDI means can be do like for establishing the operations from the scratch, from the zero, or acquiring the assets of into the foreign nation or the foreign country, or creating the joint venture. FDI is driven by the motives such as market expansion, resource access, and the efficiency seeking. For example, many multinational corporations, MNCs, they have established the manufacturing facilities in countries with a lower labor cost to improve the cost efficiency. As of today in India, Samsung or Xiaomi, they are producing the smartphone. They have started only 4 years back. Even again, if I talk about the Apple manufacturing, they have tied up with Foxconn, and Foxconn has opened their unit in India in near to Bangalore in late 2020, and now they are producing we are producing around 25% iPhone all over the world. Okay, including Tata company also, they are into the contract manufacturing with Apple as of today. So many multinational corporations, they establish the manufacturing facilities in countries with lower labor cost, so that they will improve they should improve, or they must improve their cost efficiency. FDI can take in the two forms, specifically greenfield investment and the brownfield investment. When we talk about greenfield investment, this is setting up a new facility from the scratch. When we talk about the brownfield investment, acquiring or merger with an existing firm. Like if I talk about from the Indian perspective, Tata, acquire this Land Rover company, which is Britain based. So, which is already a very big company, but they were into the losses. And in 2008, Tata acquired that company. So, even though many Indian companies, they have also acquired some, foreign companies through the FDI route. So this was a Britain-based company. Tata acquired it, and now this is a very good brand for Tata itself, Land Rover. Apart from that, there is a company in steel. I think Chorus Company. Chorus Company was also acquired by Tata Steel. Okay, so this is these all investment. They were like brownfield investment, acquiring or merging with the existing firm, setting up a new facilities from the scratch, like Hyundai in India or Toyota in India. They start from the scratch. They start producing cars here in India. Okay, so this is kind of a greenfield investment. They does not come with the joint venture with any other company like Suzuki. They come with Maruti, but Toyota and Hyundai, they set up their new facilities in India, and they start from the scratch. So these are some example with respect to the some brownfield investment. This is, with respect to foreign investment, direct investment, where you will wholly owned subsidiaries, you will start from zero, or joint venture or acquisition. With respect to the portfolio investments, investment by the foreign institutional investors. Okay, these are some kind of, FDI investment where direct or indirect or portfolio investment can be include. with respect to portfolio investment in the GDR, FDR, or these are the deposits. Okay, some are offered by private companies or some are offered by RBI. So these are some examples with respect to the FDI. Foreign this portfolio investment, unlike FDI, where portfolio investment does not involve the control over the business. In FDI, one entity control the business of a different entity, or they start from zero or from scratch. They start doing operations. They start producing the goods or offering the service from zero. But in case of portfolio investment, this is not about the controlling the business. It includes the investment in the foreign stocks or bonds or other financial assets like treasury bills. Okay, while it offer investors exposure to the international markets, it is generally less impactful on the host country economy compared to the FDI. In case of portfolio investors like FII or FPI, here one person or one entity or one company, they invest into the foreign entity. The moment they will get, they get benefit, or the moment they will get the kind of they meet the objective with respect to the interest rate or with respect to the profit, they withdraw their money out of that particular host country. But in case of FDI, that is not possible, because once you start a business, this is very difficult to wind up that particular business. So, but again, if I talk about FDI, here risk and return is very large. Risk is also comparatively with the FDI, this foreign portfolio investment is large, but return is also very much in a large proportionate. But in portfolio investment, here risk is less, but return is also less. So while it offer investors exposure to the international market, it is generally less impactful on the host country's economy compared to the FDI. Portfolio investment is very sensitive to the global economic conditions, specifically the volatile, status as of today with respect to Middle East, or the kind of money like rupees is depreciated. This is at the lowest level as of today. So this is a kind of bet which might be risky for many investors when it comes to the foreign portfolio investors. And if you have noticed, specifically in last 1.5 year, there are many very big companies, many big investors, they have withdraw money from Indian stock market, because of the volatility, and because the rupee is depreciating month by month. So this is also very sensitive to the global economic conditions and can be more volatile, as seen during the financial crisis during in 2008, when rapid outflow of portfolio investment can occur, as has occurred in last year. What are the strategic considerations once put into trade and investments? Like, first one, to assessing the market potential. Factors like consumer preferences, purchasing power, and competitive landscape, that should be thoroughly investigated, that should be thoroughly study while going for the FDI or the foreign portfolio investors, specifically for the investment point of view. Market research, feasibility studies, pilot projects are more common strategies used to gauge or to analyze the market potential before committing the significant resources. Second is to navigate the legal and the regulatory environment also thoroughly before investing into any foreign nation. Companies must, understand the frameworks which include the trade laws or investment treaties or the tax regulators with respect to the host country. Compliance with local laws and international standard is very crucial to avoid legal pitfalls, legal hurdles, or any legal issues. Maintaining a company reputations in the global market. Uh, One of the most important also aspect, apart from market potential and the navigating the legal and the regulatory environment, is the cultural and ethical consideration. Cultural and ethical consideration is understanding is the vital in the international business practice. Acceptable in one country might not be accepted in the another country. So might be that would be eventually become the part of the losses of that particular entity if there are some cultural differences, like with respect to India, we have discussed with respect to MACD or KFC. Here, any company maybe do not think to offer any product with respect to beef. But in Saudi Arabia or in Middle East or in America itself, they are offering, the many products where beef was the main, ingredients. But in India, these companies, they can't think upon. So cultural and ethical consideration also very important to understand from the trade and investment point of view. Ethical consideration such as labor practices, labor laws of that particular nation, environmental standards also play a significant role in shaping a company's international strategy. Like company like Unilever, which is a Britain-based company, European-based company, and in India they are working in the name of Hindustan Unilever, and IKEA, they have placed a significant emphasis on ethical sourcing and sustainability in the international business operations, and aligning with the consumer, global consumer trends and the ethical standards. There are some challenges also with respect to the trade and investment. Like if someone is not going to navigate, someone is not going to analyze the proper market potential, or maybe failed to understand the cultural sensitivity or cultural differences, then definitely these issues can lead to the revenue losses also, and sometimes company need to be wind up because of these major issues which they ignore while exporting or while expanding into the foreign market. So these all things are very necessary to understand from the perspective of a host nation. Now comes to the last topic of today's last and third topic of unit third, which is licensing arrangements. We have discussed this in form of international business also. So this has been mentioned specifically in unit third. So let's spend 10 more minutes on licensing arrangements. Licensing arrangements are one of the most important, widely used modes of international business expansion, especially from the firms that want to enter the foreign markets with low investment and the limited risk. In simple terms, licensing is a contractual agreement in which one company, which the company called as a licensor, they give another company to the which is called a licensee, the rights to use its intellectual property such as patent, trademark, copyrights, technology, brand name, or production processes in exchange for a fee or a royalty. Like a home country where multinational enterprises, they have some kind of technology, they offer to the host nation, to the host country, to the local firm, and and in exchange they will get some kind of fee or some kind of royalty. Licensing rights can be, include like use of brand name like logo or trademark in case of McD, Burger King, or KFC, accessing the patented technology, manufacturing processes, marketing techniques, or the product formula. And like product formula, if I talk about KFC, they have a trade secret, which they have logged in their in their home country, where their headquarters is lie, specifically in Kentucky. Okay, they offer their licensing, or their franchisee to use that particular secret formula, so that they will earn profit, they will earn revenue, and eventually this will make a part of the revenue and profit of the main entity, the licensee. So in return, the licensee typically pays the royalty, a percentage of sales of revenue, or a fixed fee, or sometime both. So the agreement or licensing arrangement, which can include the duration of the contract, like for how much duration the contract is there between the licensor and the licensee, the geographical territory which they split, in which they are going to work. Like if specifically if I talk about India, some entities they offer to the North India, some offer to the South India, and if a entity they will come into the agreement, they might be offered to the whole India. That like Domino's have offered to the Jubilant food work. The quality control standard, this also the part of the agreement, because the licensor need to be make sure the consistency in terms of quality, in terms of product, in terms of services. So quality control standard should be there in the licensing arrangement, in the licensing agreement, with respect to the licensee and the licensor. The confidentiality clauses and the performance expectations, this ensure that licensors maintain the control over how its intellectual property is used, and even though this is not directly operating in that market. So what kind of type of licensing we can discuss, like technology license, brand license, copywriting license, and the franchisee model, which is an advanced form of rights licensing, which we have talked again in the form of international business. So technology licensing, transfer of patent and technical know-how, like if we discuss about the pharmaceutical or automobile technological company, like Toyota have given the technological license to Maruti Suzuki, and in Maruti Suzuki, the engine which they used they mainly technology which they have procured from Toyota. Brand licensing, use of trademark and brand and identity, like Disney or Nike merchandising. Like this is an example of Disney, a company using the design of popular characters like Mickey Mouse on their products. So this company, they will give rights to the that particular company to use their logo, or use their popular character like Mickey Mouse or Aladdin, or if I talk about this Marvel or DC Comics characters like Spider-Man, Superman, Iron Man. Okay, so they will allow to the another company, another third party, which they are giving to, which they are offering the license, so that these companies, they will use their main characters, so that they will get increase their they will earn their revenue, and subsequently these companies licenses, they will get the fee or royalty in exchange. So copyright licensing is the third one, like use of creative works like music, films, some software, like Netflix licensing content, or T-Series in India. They are offering the copyright license or creative works to the many companies. They like as of today, there are many many movies. In many movies, there are some songs which are of 90s. Okay, and which belong to one particular company like T-Series, or this HMV, okay, or Saregama. So they give the licensing agreement to that particular director or that particular movie producers to use their creative works, and in return they will get the money. Okay. This is the to discuss the example like Three Idiot movie, which is loosely based on the novel of Chetan Bhagat. Chetan Bhagat, okay. Three Idiots, which at that time they got into the agreement, so that the producers and director of the Idiot movie, they will use what has been written in the Three Idiot novel by Chetan Bhagat. Okay, and this year also, like in Dhurandhar movie, there are many songs which is the origin of 90s, late 90s, and companies might be, or the director have taken agreement, or to use the creative works. So these all examples with respect to the copyright licensing. The last one is the franchisees. This is kind of an advanced form of licensing, where a entity have more control and complete the business model, like McD and Domino's, which we have discussed already. To discuss more with respect to licensing, I have taken example of Coca-Cola, which is a classic licensing model. Disney, as I have discussed, and technology licensing with respect to the Microsoft, or Google also, because they are giving license to use the Android to the smartphone manufacturer like Samsung or Xiaomi, or this Redmi or Vivo, Oppo, OnePlus, so that these smartphone manufacturers, they use the Android operating system in their smartphones. So these are some examples with respect to the licensing in broad way. Like Coca-Cola, they does not manufacture all its beverages globally. If I talk about Coca-Cola, they have they have operation production capabilities in 100 plus countries. Okay, in India, Coca-Cola has given rights to the Varun beverages, might be, or maybe PepsiCo. I think the PepsiCo has licensing with the Varun beverage, might be. So they does not manufacture all its beverages globally. Instead, it licensed the local bottling company. Coca-Cola, they work as a licensor, providing the secret formula and the brand, and local bottlers, they licensee, they produce the package, and they distribute it. So this allow Coca-Cola to operate globally without owning even every production unit. Disney merchandise licensing. Disney license its characters like Mickey Mouse, Marvel heroes, okay, like Iron Man, Superman, Hulk, okay, to manufacturer worldwide, a licensee producing the toys or clothes or accessories, and Disney earn the loyalties from the sale. This is the perfect example for brand licensing. Technology licensing like Microsoft or Google, I have talked about Microsoft licensing its Windows operating system to the computer manufacturer like Dell, HP, Lenovo, okay, and manufacturing they install the Windows on the laptops, and Microsoft earn the licensing fee per device. So this show how licensing is crucial in the technological driven industries or Google to understand better in terms of Android market. So what are the advantages of the strategic advantage of licensing? If one company go for licensing, they have the risk mitigation. The risk is low and the cost efficiency is also there. They leveraging the local export expertise to brand or to expand into the foreign market and to monetize the intellectual properties at the full length, because a intellectual property like patent or copyright or trademark, they have some kind of years life value actually. Like patent have 15 years in India, copyright have 50 years, 15 years for patent and 50 years for copyright in India. Likewise, there is geographical indications also. So to expand the most to monetize the intellectual property, licensing can be the strategic advantage. But in some cases, this is also comes with challenges also, like control and quality assurance, legal and contractual complexity, and strategic alignment and the long-term consideration, which might be harmful in some cases if a company, specifically the licensors, they fail to manage the qualities or they fail to manage the licensee in terms of standardization. So that is going to be a difficulty for a licensor if they fail to safeguard their intellectual properties for the long term. So this is with respect to the licensing arrangements, with respect to the types of licensing arrangements, and the challenges and advantage of licensing. So with this, our today's class we wind up, and that's all from my side. If there is any question, you can ask me. Any question? चलिए, thank you very much. मिलते हैं next class में. So with this, our last topic remain with unit 3rd. We will wind it in next class. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ridhima, for joining.